Hello viewers, Super GT here, welcome back to, it's been a long while, it's a stock car challenge in Forza 7. So for those of you who are not familiar, I just drive a car without tuning it up or upgrading it basically, and that's it. Just try to beat as many people as you can. So this is the new Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5 added into the game alongside the two beefed up drift versions of the same car. And it sits quite comfortably in A class. So the main aim, of course, is just to beat as many people as you can. I mean, that's what you do on racing, really, isn't it? Turn 1 and 2 was clean. Turn 3, not quite. Receiving a nice shunt in the rear end from that guy there to get through okay. 3 abreast, then coming up the hill towards the Love Tunnel here at Rio with the Honda Civic now on the inside. And going in, actually no contact between the three of us. Good stuff, very good stuff. Honda Civic turns it into a drift session, and well, you see what kind of chaos that causes. As you come through here, Viper comes weighing in out of nowhere. Honda Civic into the wall, brutal stuff. And you can see there as we look behind the scenes of devastation and death in the rearview mirror. And somehow we have escaped. We get through in 13th place, thankfully escaping the majority of that trouble behind. So the main thing here with this car, the main thing I was expecting was a very bad handling car with lots of power, very good on the straights. But actually it's kind of the opposite. This car actually handles quite well. It's just on the straights where I actually suffer compared to most of the other people. So I've got about 20 PI or 30 PI deficit, so I could tune it up the power if you were to use this car properly. Now you can buy discos, just a quick advert there, you can buy discos in many range of flavours, very tasty crisps, and that does not disguise the fact that I cut the corner, of course. You know, just buy the discos and just love them because they are just beautiful crisps, really beautiful crisps. Coming down the hill, 14th place now behind the Viper, fast sweeping left-hander at the bottom of the hill, look for the way past now. Actually this car really handles very nicely, really nicely, and coming into this chicane, that guy's going to hit the wall. Got to go around the outside, go up 2 position. Now coming here, it was about this point here where I really realised that I've just made a massive mistake. As well, we make a big misjudgment into the wall, and we go spinning around, and there's no sign of it stopping as the traffic comes flying past and cannot really fit down this tight alley. I decided to quit that race. It was not going well. It was all because of the paint job, obviously, so I changed it to this black one. There is evidence that the paint job can really cause bad races, and that's absolute proof of it. It just happened. Coming to turn 1, briefly dropping down to 20th of 20, so we've got a last to question mark challenge. Where can we get back up to? Here at Maple Valley Short Circuit, 9 laps. Going to be a chaotic one, it always is. Into the left-hander, just trying to pick the good line really, where is the least amount of trouble. Couple of guys going wide. Around the outside, the NSX a little bit slow there. Up to 12th, gained 8 positions already. Now into the hairpin, very tight corner this. A couple of guys wide, coming back onto the circuit. Honda S2000 very slow, and just managed to thread the needle between him and the NSX, who then decides to go over the grass. We just go around the outside and keep it on the circuit by 1 pixel. And cross the line back in 12th then. So we seem to gain the position and lose 1 at the same time. Still in 12th at this point. Coming into turn 1. So this kind of track is the kind of track I need really, because it doesn't have very many long straights, mostly corners. In fact, this corner here, one of the longest corners in the game, I think. Corvette coming back on. Where is he coming back on? Right in the path. I perhaps should have judged that one a little bit differently. I suppose my Forza senses aren't quite tingling just yet. It's been a while. Playing way too much Gran Turismo. Need to get back on this game a little bit more. So, find ourselves now in 14th. Didn't get the rub of the green through that sequence just there. Have a little bit more work to do. Back onto the main straight. Lap 2 is going to be complete now. Onto lap 3. Lotus there spinning around. Ghosted out, fortunately. Didn't have to swerve out of the way, but you can never be too safe, can you? Going through turn 1, Mustang and the Corvette going toe to toe, and then the Corvette just decides to drive off the circuit almost, follow his very unusual line through there. Up into the top 10 position with 2 guys here, potential victims next. As we come into the hairpin, just trying to be really clinical So I suppose even with a bit of a deficit in the PI, so again, A class, which we're racing here, you can go up to 700 PI. I'm rating about I think it's 673 this car. So obviously a little bit lacking in some areas, I think mainly on the straight lines. But as long as you're clinical in the way that you drive, really hit your braking zones, just be consistent, try to minimise your mistakes, then you can still really get good results and beat a lot of people. I mean, I think one of the stock car challenges I did before, I drove an NSX in A class, I think it was, on Forza 6, and I was giving away about 100 PI. I was basically in B class in an A class race, and you can still win races as long as you're just really careful. You might need a bit of luck, or you probably do need a bit of luck, but it can definitely be done. It's definitely possible. Onto the back of a Lovestein 96. Can we get past the Lovestein 96? Crossing the line up into 8th position around the outside and just sweeping across to take the racing line, and he decides to take the grass line, which I wouldn't advise. It's not that quick. Now this is the end of the race, still in 8th. There was a massive gap up ahead, and it kind of shows you that you really do need to have a good start. You need to be starting near the front, and I set a quick clean lap during that race. As you can see, starting now in 4th position. Not the greatest launch this car has, but I just want to introduce you to Exhibit A, which is an Alpha 33, who doesn't brake at turn 1 at Bathurst. You know, who would have known? Who would have known? So entertaining stuff there. Thank you for that, for wiping out half of my opponents. Find myself here in 6th place, but we immediately lose out to another Mustang there going flying past. So we're here at Mount Panorama. Now check out the Corvette behind. He was in the previous race. He has the whole straight to try to get past me, and then just somehow still hits me, and then just forgets to brake into turn 2. Thank you very much, mate. Oh man, what are these guys doing? Now coming up the hill, 5th place. It really is about the start. If you want to have any success in this game, in these short races, let's not forget that this is a short race, only 2 laps here, so it's going to last about 5 minutes, so not very long at all. You really do need to start off very well. These guys into the wall, out of the way please, sorry, you're blocking the circuit there guys, come on, up into 3rd now. So that's a good start, and again, just really trying to minimise the mistakes, avoid the trouble. Easier said than done, of course. I mean, I could have easily been killed by that Alpha 33 on turn 1. Luckily I wasn't though. Coming into the chase, the chicane at the end of the lap, or near enough at the end of that. Again, you can buy those discos. Don't forget the discos. You saw nothing there. Just buy the discos. Coming down towards the final corner. I'm in 2nd. I don't know how the hell this has happened. Really just a case of other people making silly mistakes. Lots of silly mistakes. And in fact, the guy there in the lead was battling with that Corvette. When they really, if you stop fighting and just work together, you can just pull away. They should have really both been finishing 1st and 2nd, but because they started fighting, they just bring other people into the fight. And down this 2nd straight then, or the 1st straight on this track, really. The Corvette comes back past into turn 1. There's not much I can do about that. Sorry, turn 2. Not much I can do about that because I'm lacking in the straight line speed. It's the handling where I'm going to do better, especially as we come into this sector here. The Lotus goes past, back up the inside of both of them. Nice double switchback, savage overtake. Gone a little bit deep though. The Lotus comes back on the exit up the hill, and that Lotus really has got some power. So he's back into 2nd. I'm up into, or down into 3rd. Corvette behind, settling in behind. So I'm just going to have to kind of take a slightly narrower line here just to really prevent the guy from overtaking here. Keep in 3rd position. The leader making a mistake. We're actually caught up. Coming down the hill, this is the really tricky section of the circuit, and braked a little bit late, almost into the back of the Lotus. The Frenchman wants to go some. Okay then, on you go then, into the wall. You're going to try to nudge me wide. I'll try to nudge you wide. That's how it works. Coming down the hill then, into this is a really tricky corner to get right. He's very wide. He's proven my point. So I'm back into 3rd. Can we get on the podium? Can we get a podium in the stock Ford Mustang RTR? RTR standing for ready to rock, apparently. Okay, coming down the back straight into the kink, we've got CRC Hebrew Boy behind on the brakes, and I'm going into the back of him, so I had to kind of swerve the Lotus into the tyre wall. Unforced error from him, and I've gained a position, but I've lost one as well. So in 4th here as we cross the line. So decent result, 4th. I'll take that. We move on to Prague. I really like this circuit. really like the circuit. Starting 5th this time around. Let's see what we can do. It's clear that the launch is not very good on this car. It's not great at all. But once it gets going, the handling is good, and this is largely a handling circuit, mostly anyway. Up the inside, good solid move. We've got the inside line up into 5th, back to where we started. Chasing Eddie from Need for Speed in his R34 Skyline now. Now I've seen this incident enough here, where two people go too wide, and you can cut back on them beautifully. My Forza senses have been reactivated. I'm understanding what's going on again. I can see that one coming, and that really is half the game, you know. Avoiding the chaos, understanding what's going on, and embracing it, embracing the madness, and fighting your way through it. And if you can do those things, you'll be successful on Forza 7. There's my guide to success on the game. So, in 3rd place now, and this car really actually dancing through the turns. It actually really handles very good, actually. And again, it's really just not what I expected. When I saw this, I mean, it's a Mustang for a start. It's an American car, which I just typically associate with power and just zero drivability. Just like quite poor handling, but just tons of power and speed in a straight line. But actually, it's kind of the opposite. It drives really well. It drives really well around the corners, and maybe if you were to tune this thing up, it would actually be a very solid car in A class, maybe even S class as well. Although that remains to be seen. Maybe we could do that in a later video. Coming flying down the long banked right-hander onto the little causeway here towards the final turn. Sitting in a comfortable 3rd, we're actually pulling away. I was actually quite worried that I was going to start getting overtaken, but that's really not proven to be the case. As we come through the final turn then, onto the main straight. That was a solid first lap actually. Went from 5th down to 7th, back to 3rd. And we find ourselves in a comfortable 3rd, trying to hunt down the top 2 who have actually really bolted and got away. Let's see how we take this first turn. Go deep on the brakes, and then you cut back and coast and let the car rotate and take a late apex. And then through the fast sweeping chicane here, the chicane of death. Through there we go, ignoring the new track limits, which are rubbish. And they should really go back to the old ones, but anyway. At the end of the race, you see actually he was catching up with the guy in 2nd. It was a good little race this. I didn't quite have enough. Maybe one more lap and I might have done it. In fact, let's have a look. No, not quite. He's just kept it in order through the final corner, and I can't quite go for that 2nd place. But it's going to be a 3rd. Best result of this stock car challenge. Crossing the line, there we go. I'm happy with that. I'll take that. We move to Hockenheim. Final race of the video. So starting in 5th once again, you can see again the launch, yeah, really not great. So you can always lose out on that first turn. This Lotus just decides not to turn as we come through, and we're going to get swarmed here by Mustangs left and right, and Eddie in his Skyline on the right again into turn 2. How is this one going to play out? Subaru all over the grass, and well, he's facing backwards now. Just a normal scene. Just a normal scene at turn 2, Hockenheim. And onto the back straight then. This is the national version of the circuit. So we're not going to run completely to the left into the very sharp hairpin. It's this alternative version here, which is actually a very tricky corner because there's no real braking indicators on the way in. Double apex, quite a difficult turn to get right. That into 9th. So potential here for some good results. Can we go about getting some extra positions here? But EERIEISSS up ahead, the FRC Hotshot. Can we go about beating him maybe? I think he's driving the stock Hot Wheels Mustang. So we've both opted for stock Mustangs here. Good little battle there. Onto the main straight in 7th. Don't quite have the speed to get alongside into turn 1, so I'm going to have to tuck in behind. Into turn 1 we go. A little bit wide, actually really not clipping that apex very nicely at all. Lost a bit of time. And coming up towards turn 2 then, getting away slightly from the 4GT behind. The mist has now descended, kind of typical of your Forza race. This seems to happen in most races these days. You've got this weird mist descending on the 2nd lap and then it dissipates back to clear weather. So coming down the back straight then, Racers have got ahead of his opponent there into 5th position. A little bit lower than he would normally be fighting for, with 0 braking ability on that car. That thing is all about power. 0 brakes. Who needs brakes anyway? Anyway, coming into the left-hander. And again, side by side between these two. Can't really pick away past. He's sliding in that Jaguar. I'm going to cut him back on the way out of the turn. That's often a good way to overtake, I think, on this game. Just really put someone off on the way in, and they take the wrong line, and then you overtake them on the way out by just taking a better line. And that's exactly what happened there, but in reverse. I took the poor line in. They both got me on the way out, and I was kind of focused on defending from this Mustang, and it put me off a little bit. My fault though. Big mistake, but it invites a good little race here. With 1 lap left to go, can I possibly go about getting my 6th place? Looks like races are now going to begin to edge away. You see him getting through the mist and disappearing. And as we cross the line then, 1 lap left to go, big gap behind, 400 or so feet. What's that in metres? I don't know. Coming through turn 1, clipping the apex nicely. Much better run than the Mustang. We're going to put it alongside into turn 2. Jaguar just ahead still. Looking for our braking zone just before that AstroTurf on the left hand side. We've hit it nicely. Hit the apex and we hooked up back into 7th place. It's a good race, but good little battle this between the 3 of us. Not the best of exits. The sun has now cleared. You see the Mustang there, so much more power down this back straight into the double right hand hairpin. Looking up the inside, it was quite wide and I kind of put my nose there. Not quite enough space to go for it. And into the left hander now. Again, not enough space. Is he going to go for the move? No, not quite. It's a good little battle this. Final lap of the race. Can we perhaps go about getting 1 more position as we come then towards the stadium section of the circuit, the final sector of the lap and of the race. We're going to go for that better line on the way out. Let the car coast halfway through, then back on the power down towards the hairpin. Sebastian Vettel's favourite corner in the world, this, as we cut back. We're going to go for the exit speed. Look at that, picking our way through on the exit of the turn, up the inside, which turns to the outside. I've got the line and I'm up the inside. I'm going to take that 6th position. Good stuff. Oh yes, there we go. So from 8th to 6th, brutal, absolutely savage overtaking on the final sector of the race. We're going to come across the line to finish in our favourite position, and there it is. Oh baby, good stuff. But that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Let me know your thoughts and I shall see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.